No change, I can change, I can change.
So late
I
90s.
can change what I feel in my.
Yeah, that's a good one.
'Cause I'm a million different people.
Bro,
from
we might just have to
one day
redirect
to
this
the next.
conversation to another time because
We
it's not
definitely
over.
do, and it's also 4:48, so we should probably record this podcast.
They're not going to be done to 5:20, so if we can get it in 40 in a half hour, we're good.
Or we could just segue into making this the whole podcast. No, all right.
Apartment 5A, Chinese restaurant.
So, yeah.
All right, so look, here, ready? Welcome back to Apartment 5A,
Yeah,
the
we're back.
podcast.
Yeah,
you're
we're-
here with Mike, Drew, and Roman.
Yes,
We
here
took
we
a
are.
little summer hiatus.
Yeah,
We
took
did,
a
we
little
did.
time off.
We did.
Took
we're
a few
back.
weeks.
So,
We just
are-
had a very in-depth discussion
yeah.
on
So,
crappy,
Early
crappy.
90s.
well, crappy slash
No,
good
curl,
music.
crappy early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, decent
good
early
music.
90s music.
No, yeah, I'm.
Some of it was okay.
We talked about a lot of crappy bands.
I
we
love
did.
the Verve personally, but that's just me.
We're not
So,
gonna get
anyway,
into that
guys,
right
we were
now.
supposed to start recording like an hour ago, but we just
Yeah, we got
We got-
segued, but we decided we wouldn't subject you all to that. So
So it's okay though. But we're here.
yeah,
We're back. It's season 2, episode 9,
yeah.
the Chinese restaurant.
On the
Yes.
short list for one of my favorite all time.
I think
Oh,
this
definitely,
one
definitely.
really had. I think it's a lot of people's favorite, which is hilarious in its simplicity, but there's
Yeah.
a lot going on. In there's more going on in this episode than some of the previous episodes with
Definitely.
a 1,000 scene changes.
yeah.
Yeah,
This is like
so-
the Die Hard of Seinfeld episodes, if
Yes.
you will.
And it was pretty significant at the time because it made some. It almost stirred some things and it made some changes there within the Seinfeld world at the time.
Okay.
So, it aired on 5/23/91.
So May
Yeah.
23rd, 91.
Yep. And the episode starts regularly enough. Jerry stand up, and this is the thing we were talking about earlier. He's talking about payphones. He made a payphone call.
Yeah.
He hangs up. The phone rings again. He picks it up, and they want more money.
Yeah, it's the telephone company letting you know you want a little over.
What your
You
quarter
owe
got?
us.
Ah, really?
Did you know a quarter was limited on a payphone, or did you think it was forever?
Yeah, I knew it was limited. I didn't know that they would call. I knew that other people could call. Like if you were like, "Yo, here's the number of this payphone I'm at."
No, they would call and say, "Hey, give us more money."
That's very
But
interesting.
the phone call was over. He says he.
Wait, but what if you just walk away?
Well, Jerry claims he hung up right at that magical moment where you have them in your full control.
Right.
They're
yeah.
like, "Hey, you still owe us."
Yeah.
Yeah, what if you just hang up?
No one would pay that. Do you think anyone ever paid it?
No.
Oh, they'll be
Maybe.
like, "Oh,
Or
wait."
would they be like, "We're gonna bill that number you called, 25 cents"? I don't
That's
think that's
crazy.
how it went.
I don't think it's.
I
how
think
it
they were
went
just
either.
like, "Hey, give us our money." And Jerry talks about clinking a quarter against it, saying, "Is that what you want? Is that what you want? I got you where I want you." It's pretty
Right?
funny.
That is pretty
but
funny.
a little outdated.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
but
a lot of the stuff is, but it's
yeah, of course.
it's pretty funny. I would say that was the opening bit because of the importance the payphone plays in this episode,
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
which again shows the perils of yesteryear. You wouldn't
Oh,
be in
sure.
that today. That predicament.
you wouldn't.
No.
You just
Thousand
Using a
phones
payphone.
everywhere.
Just fire off a
1,000
text.
ways to contact people any way you want.
Well, I mean, even if you had a payphone, who you calling? I
Yeah.
don't know anybody's phone number.
Well, I mean,
Off
worst
the
comes to
top
worst,
of
you
my
could
head,
call
pretty
someone to
much,
get
yeah.
it. You'd find your way around. But I'm saying now, that would never even be a thought.
No.
This episode could not have that aspect these days. So scene 2, I always write the scenes down in my notes here,
Yeah.
and I put them in orange. And this has 3 scenes, which is pretty funny because that's it.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, this episode was so short in the original script that the NBC executives were worried that they didn't have the full script. They
Was there a lot of improvising involved?
Warren Littlefield commented that he thought the pages were missing from the script he received. Jerry recognized a woman but did not know where. Elaine was famished. George was unable to use the phone. NBC disagreed. And that's why they added a few more things in to satisfy the writers, or the executives.
Give a little more
Yeah.
depth.
Yeah.
So we'll get into all that, but scene 2, the episode starts. They walk into the restaurant, and you commented on Jerry's jacket.
Jerry's here rocking a little suede puffy, suede bomber style jacket.
Yeah, he has endless coats, endless
Got a lot of coats.
hype '90s coats.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So
For sure.
there's George is wearing a scarf.
He's got which is weird though, because he's got like a windbreaker on.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, windbreaker with a
Scarf?
scarf. Yeah, but he was wearing a scarf. It was also the guy that he was battling to get
Wait.
off the phone had a scarf on. So
maybe it was a
maybe it was
scarfy
chilly.
thing.
Could have been a scarfy day. So,
Well, the other guy had an overcoat on. That made sense.
yes, he had a long overcoat,
George has like a spring jacket on
fully
with
matching,
Right.
and
with a scarf.
they walk in. They're talking about how there should be more cops. George just wants garbage trucks, which I agree with. Just get the garbage out, get it
Garbage
cleaned
man.
up. We need the
Yeah.
garbage.
Yeah.
Get it out of here. You
Yeah.
know. So, they go to put the name in, and they have to get to a movie. So the guy tells them 5 to 10 minutes. Elaine's worried; she just wants to leave and go to the movie,
Yeah.
Now,
or go get food somewhere else. And Jerry wants
you-
to go to the
do
movie.
you guys deal with wait times at restaurants?
I feel like I haven't
And
in a while
if-
because
if
of
you
because
have,
of reservations.
What's your threshold?
Oh, I've waited long for things before.
Yeah,
Well,
me
because
too.
you
It
you
depends
you
on what it is.
invested at that
Also,
point.
Yeah, I
if,
get
if I get the OG hip vibrator beeper, and I can go, say I'm in one Universal Studios. I want to eat in that restaurant. They got parrots flying around.
Rainforest Cafe.
There you go. That one's busy. 2.5 hour wait. What I do is I go a little early. I hit them up. I get the beeper. Then I frolic around.
True.
I hit the gift shop. I hit some games. A ride or two.
True.
You can go so far.
Well, a lot
thing-
of times,
the thing
in that
vibrates, I roll.
situation, you kind of know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
I was in the
Gonna be
casino.
But if I go to
Crazy.
Outback Steakhouse and they tell me 2 hours,
Right.
I'm gonna head somewhere else.
Right. Okay.
Well, I was in the casino
heading
like
to
2
Chili's.
weeks ago, and I was going to Chickies and Pete's, and they were like, it might be like half an hour, and I was like, cool, I'll wait. Went, gambled, came back.
Right. That's an easy option
Yeah.
at fucking,
Casino.
Chicky and Pete's at the casino.
Yeah, this
But-
is true.
I just mean, like, in their situation, they made a plan to go there. This is all before the technology of today.
Yeah, no, of
You
course.
know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Today, you could just look on the,
Open
Google
table.
Maps to see
So,
if the place is busy or
At
not.
this
Yeah.
point, this episode, like I get it. They tell them 10 minutes. The restaurant knows it's going to be longer. But imagine the competition. In New York at that time. The bustling city. They just want to keep people in there. Of course, they're going to tell you 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes.
Right.
Oh,
Instead
sure.
of telling you 15 off the rip.
Right.
So, they tell them 5 minutes. They decide to stay, and it's funny. Jerry asks how things are going with George's girl,
Oh, yeah.
Tatiana. He says they were going okay. It's complicated. He doesn't want to talk about it in front of Elaine. Elaine wants to go somewhere else. Jerry just says he's going to stay here. George has to call Tatiana. That's the girl he's seeing.
Right.
They had a little bit of a tiff. I think
Yeah.
tiff is the right word.
I believe so.
Now,
Right.
again, he's in his whole thing. No cell phones. He's got to call her from this restaurant,
Yeah.
and he goes to get the phone. The guy that we were just mentioning was standing there. The overcoat,
Yeah.
the whole matching outfit. George mentions his socks matching. He, kind of makes fun of him. He's got the trench coat and the scarf. So, like, again, scarf weather.
Right.
My notes are a little out of order, so they call out the table, the Lashbrooks, and they can't believe that somebody's going before them. And Jerry says, "So did I do a terrible thing?" Elaine says, "Lying to your uncle," and he says, "I couldn't have dinner with him." Plan 9 from Outer Space, one night only, the big screen. That's the movie that you want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a famously bad movie that Jerry has to see it.
This is funny too because George gets back after the guy won't let him on the phone, and he asks Jerry if he will. I guess that's the second time after he talks to him when he asks Jerry
But-
if he'll fight him.
That's a thing that like it's not even a thing anymore because nobody uses payphones.
Yeah, you want to wait.
So
You'd have the cell
there
phone.
isn't even the courtesy of making a quick call because somebody might be waiting to use the phone.
Yeah, the
Right.
payphone down the street's broken in half and still there.
Yeah.
It's wild. Elaine's starving. She's famished. She's, as you would say.
Ravenous.
Jerry says, I offered you cookies. She says, health cookies. I hate those.
Yeah.
Again, referring to probably Snackwells, which Jerry's always eating. That stuff was terrible. My mom always had that shit in the 90s. It was gross.
Yeah, it was weird.
Diet shit was a weird time. They were introducing all that diet stuff that probably like gave you cancer anyway. So,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
so Jerry sees a woman he knows and he keeps saying it's driving him crazy. He has no idea who it is. Then 4 people walk in. They bump into Elaine. They instantly get let into the restaurant. She can't believe it. Did you see that? Those people are getting a table. We were here before them. And the guy, they asked them, I'm sorry. George goes up to the guy. Are you going to be much longer? I have to make an important phone call. The guy barely looks at George, goes back to it, and that's when Jerry and Elaine ask about the people that just got let in, the 4-piece.
Yeah.
And the guy says that they were there before them. He kind of
Right.
gibberish.
Well, they
So-
kind of clearly came right through the
Yeah,
door.
they just let them in. There's a reason. I don't know what it is. They're not letting them in. So that guy, his name is James Hong, the maitre d'.
Yeah.
He was in a bunch of stuff over the
Bunch of
years.
stuff.
Oh, he's in a ton of shit.
From the 50s to now. Some of like the
Yeah.
big ones I wrote down. He's still alive and acting. He does a lot
Yes.
of voice acting now. Tango and Cash,
Yes.
Nerds 2,
Yes.
Golden
Nerds.
Child.
Nerds in
Yeah.
Paradise. Nerds in Paradise. Classic movie. Roman, I know you probably never saw it.
Nerds in
but
Paradise?
Yes.
What is
Yes.
that?
It's Nerds.
The
Part
movie
2.
Nerds.
Nerds Part 2.
Yeah, the sequel is called Nerds in Paradise.
What's Nerds Part 1? I never even heard of
You
it.
never saw Nerds?
You never saw the movie Nerds?
Like Revenge of the Nerds?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well. the
So yeah, he was in
sequel,
Revenge of the Nerds Part
that's
2.
different.
Big Trouble Little China.
Big Trouble in Little
Airplane.
China.
Good
Most
movies.
recently,
Oh,
he's
God.
done a lot of voices in Kung Fu Panda and shit like that.
Dude,
So
banger.
he is hilarious. He's plays a very subtle bad guy in this.
Yeah.
But you know, he tells them that the people were there before them. So at this point, George comes up to Jerry and says, "Can I count on you?" Jerry says, "What if we decide to go at it?" The guy on the phone.
yeah.
George
And-
wants to beef with him.
Yeah, he wants to fight him.
Yeah.
And Jerry says, "Yeah, I want to get into a rumble."
Right.
He calls it a rumble. And George says, "Look at his little outfit. His socks match his little shirt. I really hate this guy." George hates him right now.
George does not like he's so like
He's
put out-
angry.
he's so put off
Yeah.
by this guy just casually using a payphone.
And
No regard for him waiting.
Elaine's going crazy. She says that she is going to faint, which is, you know, again, very similar to human situations. Dramatic.
Not true.
So
Oh, Roman's the worst.
another little fun fact about this. The original script had Jerry, George, shut that, and Elaine picking their least favorite holiday as they enter the
You gotta go
restaurant.
to bed.
So they she what am I saying? Oh yeah, here. You know what? Let's have a fortune cookie for the Chinese episode. Chinese restaurant episode. Why don't you were you gonna read your fortune, Drew?
Of course.
I'll read mine. A little stale.
They're always so. I don't think I've ever had a fresh one in my life.
I don't know. These seem almost wet. They haven't stored in the bathroom. You will be unusually successful in business. Hey,
That's good. Can I have one, Mike?
so
Well, so.
pretty stale. These are the same.
Well, like I said, I don't think I've ever had a fresh one in my life.
I'm gonna get a couple fresh boxes for the Broad Street Breakdown here again.
Wait, do you have any more?
Yeah, Tulsa Roman one. What do you got, Drew?
No, he didn't.
This fortune doesn't make any sense, but
What's it say?
you can't possibly live long enough to make all of them yourself.
Oh, this is very stale.
Make all of them?
That doesn't make any sense.
Shit.
Oh, these are real stale, Mike.
Chew it up. I sucked
I
mine
ate
down.
it. It's not that bad.
What's yours? What's yours, Reed? Ash just licked under the door.
The bottom of the ladder is crowded. There's plenty of room at the top.
Hey.
But why does mine just make no sense?
What did it say?
Bro,
Can I say it? You can't possibly live enough to make all of them yourself.
Wait, read it again?
You can't possibly live long enough to make all of them yourself. What is them?
That's weird.
We gotta save that and ask people. I'm gonna ask people if that makes sense later. You know what we'll do? We'll put that on the podcast. Hey, we got this fortune while we were doing this episode. What do you guys think this means? Let us
Good.
know. So, back to the episode. Roman rudely interrupted with his childish behavior. Anyway, so Jerry is. Elaine says she's gonna faint.
Right.
And Jerry again says, "Who was that woman with the stripes? She looks so familiar." Elaine is saying it's not fair that those people are seated first, a first come first serve. It should be based on who's hungriest, which is pretty funny. I like
Yeah.
that. If you're starving and you go in, and they could like scan you. They're like, you have to be seated right now.
Yeah.
Stat
Like
an emergency room. They should
Exactly.
do food like in the emergency room.
It's a good idea.
So this is where Jerry. This is the whole. Okay, this is what makes this one of the earliest episodes I remember. This scene here. When Jerry says, "I'll tell you what, there's $50 in it for you if you do it," because Elaine mentioned taking food off someone's plate.
Right.
What do you mean? You walk over to the table. His instructions are hilarious. You walk over to the table. You pick up an egg roll. You don't say anything. You eat it. Say thank you very much. Wipe your mouth. Walk away. I'll give you $50. What are they going to do? They won't do anything. You'll give them a story. I agree. I mean, now if you were at our table, we might throw something at you, slap it out of your hand. Those old people ain't doing nothing.
Right.
$50, and she says no stipulations, so no tricks. She goes over, and she, with her mouth closed like a fucking ventriloquist.
Right.
Yeah.
She says, "I'll give you $25." They're offering me $50. And you point out, you hear Larry yelling there.
What's she saying? What's she saying?
Yeah.
Larry saying, "Someone tell me what she said. What did she say?" You just hear Larry's
You
voice
just
out of
hear
all
his
the people.
voice, Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take. She runs back. They all have a giggle. She tells them that she offered. And that's it. So the phone's free. George says hallelujah. He runs over. Lady gets there right
Lady
before him.
gets right there
Yeah.
before him.
She
She
really
shits on
burns
him.
them good.
I mean, I disagree. He should have been standing closer.
No,
He
Yes,
was
I-
no,
on
she
the
of
won.
other
course,
She
side
won
of the
fair and
room.
square, right? She did.
Oh,
Yeah,
she's
and
only
she
one.
looks like bootleg Susan Sarandon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she
She
do
looked
like
like she would.
Susan
She would.
Sarandon.
She would hit him with a little hammer fist.
Yeah.
And George says, "I've been standing there
Could
for 10
even
minutes."
be bootleg Sigourney
Yes,
Weaver.
I was about to say the same
Yes.
exact thing.
So
Because, real quick, is Susan Sarandon the bootleg Sigourney Weaver?
No, because Susan Sarandon was around way before Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's in Rocky Horror Picture Show. Susan
Banger. Great movie.
It's not a great
You know,
movie.
you know,
Seen it
he used to
many
go see
times.
the midnight
Yeah, of
showing.
course.
I go.
know.
Yeah, I used
We
to
knew
go-
that before he told us
He
that.
I used to go
dressed up,
all
he
the time.
threw
No, I
bread,
never
I
drew up,
know.
but I dressed
You
up,
wore
but I did
spiked-
throw bread and
a
shit.
spiked cod piece.
Nah, but one time I brought some vitamin water mixed with some rum, and it was disgusting. Got hammered.
Well, the lady says, "I won't be long." And George says, It's not the point. I was here first. If you're here first, you will be holding the phone." And this is one of the famous lines. George says, "You know, we're living in a society.
Yeah.
We're supposed to act in a civilized way." That's like,
He loves to point out that we're living in a
but
society.
that's the first time, right?
But
Yeah.
his
Is it the first
definition,
society?
what's his
Yeah.
definition of that? What, he just wants
Acting in a civilized way.
kindness?
Well, it all has to go his way.
Yeah.
George,
Yeah,
if it goes George's way, society as well.
Society is.
So, you know, he's saying, does she care? She ever split his place? So he is very upset. At that point, the guy that he wanted to fight says, "Hey, sorry I took so long." And George, with nice as he could, says,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's okay. Don't worry about it." Pretty funny. So Elaine's wondering how do people fast? Did Gandhi go crazy? And Jerry's saying, I told my uncle I had a stomach ache. And we said, do you think it's Uncle Leo?
No.
I don't think Uncle Leo unless he
'Cause-
says Uncle Leo.
Well, also he said his wife.
Yeah, he's going crazy right now, and he says probably bought it. And this is where George goes in, the Tatiana problem. And
Yeah.
more or less, he goes to her house.
Yeah, he's
They're
got
messing
shit.
around. He's got to take a huge shit, and her bathroom is right next to the
Right.
bedroom.
Like
Own
you
it.
said, there was no separation.
What do you think?
I had an apartment like that once. Bathroom was right in the master bedroom.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Now, no, I've been in some sticky situations.
Yeah, that's like how my bathroom is too.
Now, want to know something?
What?
I got a bathroom right below me. In a separate entity.
That is very true.
What, you go down to the store?
No, I don't, but I could.
Yeah, you could, but
Yeah.
I mean, your bath. When the bathroom's in a complete
Yeah, but
other room,
what if they have
where
to go
there's
in right
multiple
after?
doors shutting?
What if they have to go in right after?
Well,
And it's steamed
I mean,
out.
let me
That's
let
his-
me
that's
ask this
just
though:
his
if
problems.
he's with the girl and they're making out or whatever, now he's got to go. When does that ever happen? I've never had
You
this
got them
shit.
bubble guts.
I've
Well, it
never
might
had
be,
this
yeah,
shit
you-
at that particular.
Well-
Yeah,
point.
but what if you eat something fucking
Well, I
fucked
had a
up?
friend who was in a situation with a girl like that. I don't know what happened, but she got some explosive shit going on. Definitely put a damper on the whole night. But after which, I don't think he cared too much. At
We
that
have
point.
we'll have a friend who will remain unnamed, a loud fellow. He's had a couple. He's been in a couple. Let me say, shitty situations. Not
Oh.
good. So, yuck. Anyway, so George says it's okay to the guy. He's telling Jerry about the problem. Yeah, the bathroom is too close. So George just says in the middle, "I gotta leave."
Yeah.
Says he has to leave. So Tatiana's upset, and that's why he has to call her tonight to make things better. Which is weird that he's. I mean, maybe she was at work, and it's the only time you get a hold of her. I don't know.
But no, like, here's the thing, too, and you guys got to realize this. Before cell phones, there was a lot of times where you just had to. You may have had a discussion with somebody, and it was. It didn't resolve itself, and you might have had to wait until that person was
Yeah.
done work
Well, yeah, you
the
couldn't
next
text
day.
all
To
day.
talk, right.
Right.
You couldn't just send somebody a text message. You
a
couldn't
DM,
just,
a
right.
Facebook, anything.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Right, you had to wait until that person was ready to discuss whatever with you,
Right.
and you had to deal with it then. Funny,
Elaine
because
stating how she hates the place. Right.
the place they're in.
Yes.
Yeah, because she's mad.
Jerry's wondering about the woman. And George moves to the phone because the lady's off. Elaine says, Jerry talked to the guy again. He says, what am I going to say? Tell me we have to catch a movie. We're late. Mr. Cohen comes in. He approaches the podium.
Love Mr. Cohen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huge fan
Yes.
of this stupid fucking.
He says, hey, what stinks in here? Mr. Cohen, I haven't seen you in a couple weeks. I've been looking for a better place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
he's
maitre
got some
d'
great one-liners.
Laughs,
like,
laughs, hard as can be.
Yeah, he laughs.
You want table? No, just bring me the plate and I'll eat here. Bring him a plate, I'll eat here. Come on, they're all having a giggle.
Right, a real laugh.
He seats Mr. Cohen.
Mr. Cohen gets his seat right
Instantly.
away.
Jerry says, excuse me, we've been waiting here. We're ahead of that guy. Mr. Cohen is always here. He's a regular. So
Yeah, he's always here.
Always
he
here.
says he lives on Park Avenue and he walks away.
He's a nice man. He lives on Park Avenue.
And
He's
Elaine says,
always here.
what in God is going on here? George comes back. She's not there. She left. She must have waited and left because these people want to get off the phone. Jerry says, did you leave a message? Yes, I told her to call here and tell anyone who answers they ask for a balding, stocky man with glasses. I better tell him I'm expecting a call. Jerry can't find the woman.
Real quick. It was acceptable to receive phone calls.
In movies, it happens all the time.
I'll be
know,
at
when they're
this
eating?
Chinese restaurant for dinner. And if you called there, hey, is there this guy Drew here, big guy, with, whatever.
Right, yeah.
They would put, because if it was my restaurant, I'd be like, oh, no,
Right.
like, what do you
Yeah.
think this is here?
Yeah, it's like, what is this? A fucking,
Am I the phone operator? What is
What
this?
am I, the operator? You know about that? You used to be able to dial low. They beep, 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 connect you.
Yeah, I know about the
You don't know what
operator.
an operator is.
No, I don't know what the operator is.
You don't even
You know about you used to have to call different numbers to know what time it was
Yeah,
for information.
yeah.
So-
Information, very
Elaine
broad.
says, Jerry, here comes that woman. Jerry says, how do I know her? You ever been in that situation where you don't know? It happens to me all the time.
Happens to me.
And I've gotten so good at just... I
Happens
even
to me.
introduce people without knowing them. I just
I
tell...
can get out of it.
Yeah. Well, I usually try to...
You just like Drew does. You like I just keep calling him fella.
There
Yeah,
you go,
camel.
Yeah.
So, hi, Jerry. Hey, how you doing? How is everything? So they're talking. Finally, she says her name, and he says, oh, she works for my uncle, Lorraine Catalano. So now he knows, uh-oh, I lied to my uncle. Now I'm going to get caught. He starts
Right.
mentioning all sorts of family members. And then he says, my uncle to my aunt to my mother to my uncle to my cousins, my cousin to my sister to me. Jerry doesn't have a sister. Now, I honestly, I think I thought before this he was just saying hypothetically. It's like I'd be like, tell my aunt, tell my, I'd mention all my, that's what I thought.
Right.
I didn't know if he was giving the real run of events where it would just be like, oh, it tells. I
Well,
thought
I
he was
think-
just being excessive with the
I
explanation.
think they just wrote it thinking.
Yeah.
You know,
It would, whatever.
Right.
Well, that always happens in shows.
Right.
I think George mentions a brother, so
Elaine mentioned sisters.
sisters, mother, all that. So you should have just gone to dinner with your uncle. It's just a movie. Just a movie. You don't understand. This isn't. This isn't plans.
This
1
isn't
through-
plans 1 through 8.
Oh, plans 1 through
This
8.
is
from
plan
Outer Space,
9,
yes.
the one that worked.
The one
Yes.
that worked.
The worst
Yeah.
movie ever made.
It's Jerry's. It's a thing. Jerry's got to go see it.
He says we got to get him the movie. Got to get a table immediately. So this is where they keep going. Roman, you all right over there? You calm down.
I know he just keeps looking at his phone. He's very busy.
Sorry, I just had to send a text to
Oh.
Mikey guys.
Mikey Eyes. Shout out Mikey Eyes.
Yeah.
So, Elaine says go give him slip him a tip. Slide him some cash,
Yeah.
get in there. $20. George says, isn't that excessive? It costs more than the meal. The meal's $20. What do you?
Well, I think he meant more than
His
than
meal.
his
Right.
portion would
Stuff
be.
was cheap back then.
And the way people ate Chinese food was more like you ordered things and everybody ate.
Has
Right,
some.
yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was like family style.
Yeah.
Right.
So, so they divide the $20 tip in 3 ways: 7, 7, and 6. George says, "I don't want to eat that much," and Jerry says, "I'm counting
Counting
your shrimps."
shrimps.
So, I can't do it. Jerry has to do it, and then Elaine says, "I can't do it," but Jerry makes her do it.
Do you? I know you're not a Chinese food guy at all.
Depends, not
Are
not,
you? Are
not
you
traditional.
Roman?
Huge.
I'm a huge Chinese food guy too.
Chris
Like,
is
oh.
facing over. Should I answer?
Why don't you just say we're recording podcast? So, Jerry hands Elaine the money. Elaine calls, wet her lips, approaches the host. Da, 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 da. How's it going? Very busy. We're anxious to sit down. She's anything you could do. I'd really appreciate it. She hands the money. He takes the money. Dennison, table 4. Your table is ready. Dennison 4, your table is ready. She says, no, I want that table. He leaves, followed by the Dennisons, and she has no money.
She has no money.
She got beat. She gave him the $20. He said, okay, and then just called the next table. And Jerry says, you lost the 20. How could you do that? You didn't make it clear. And Jerry says, all right, let me get the money back. He goes up. He says, I realize this is extremely embarrassing. My friend here made a mistake. Your name, Seinfeld? Yes, Seinfeld 4. And they start talking about relationships being difficult. They get very sidetracked. And Jerry just says, how much longer is it going to be? And he says, 5-10 minutes.
Right.
I just thought of something funny.
What's that?
Is the table under Jerry's name or George's name?
No, it's under Jerry's because, hold on. This confused me before till I looked into it here.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Do you know what he's talking about? Why he's saying that? Because of this. and he's saying we should have left earlier. I told you. I don't see any way we can eat and make the movie. Elaine has to eat. He says eat in the cab. She says
Yeah.
in the cab, eat a movie. She says, what do you think? They have big picnic tables in there?
Yeah.
And she says, let's leave now and go to Sky Burger. We scarf them down. He says, I'm not going to Sky Burger. Besides, the opposite direction. Let's just eat popcorn or something. This is where the discrepancy comes in. The guy's yelling out, Cartwright,
Cartwright.
Cartwright, Cartwright,
Cartwright 4.
Cartwright 4. So, check this out. All good there?
You okay, Roman?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Listen, Spike Farenston, the writer, revealed that the maitre d' yelling Cartwright instead of Costanza was a subtle allusion to the classic television western
Gunsmoke.
Bonanza.
Or Bonanza. I figured
Bonanza
that.
rhymes with Costanza, and the show's main characters
Was
were the
Mr.
Cartwright
Were the
family.
Cartwright family.
Yeah.
Hold on, it gets deeper. In fact, the maitre d' was portrayed by James Hong, who appeared in Bonanza as a cousin of Hop Sing, the houseboy to the Cartwright family.
Yeah.
Hop Sing.
Yes, and they mention Hop Sing.
Hop Sing is the restaurant, the other Chinese restaurant. You're banned. You're on a list.
Yes.
You
Bennis.
name names.
Yes.
Bennis. Yeah, you name
There's
names.
a,
Yeah.
I bet you that's so. There's an even further,
When
Connection.
Ned Isaacov's father was blacklisted
Yeah.
for being a communist,
Yes.
he'd sit at Hop Sings all day.
Yeah.
and yeah. Again, this episode shows Jerry's lack of care of money. With the throw up a 20 for a tip, I'll give you $50. Jerry wanted to spend 70
Yeah.
just to have
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
So,
Jerry's total disregard for pocket money.
yes. So here we go. At this point, okay, here we go. They have hot dogs in there. I can't have popcorn for dinner. They're calling Cartwright still. He says, I can't go anywhere. I have to wait for Tatiana's call. Let me just check. Excuse me, I'm expecting a call. Costanza? And he says, yes, I just got a call. I yelled Cartwright. It's weird. He did yell Cartwright table 4.
Yeah.
But the Cartwright was for the call.
Right.
Oh, no. Hold on. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
weird that he
that
said
is.
Cartwright 4.
That is weird.
Huh. Anyway, yeah, I just got a call, yelled Cartwright, just like that. Nobody came. I hung up. Was it for Costanza or yes? That's it. Nobody answered. Was it a woman? Yes. I told you you're not here. She said curse
She
word,
said
and I
curse
hang up.
word, I hang up.
So that's it. And George says he yelled Cartwright. I missed it. Who's Cartwright? Why couldn't you just go home and call? I don't understand. You couldn't just call her later and be like, "Hey, craziest thing happened."
Right. Exactly.
This is wild.
Yeah,
It's
the
very-
phone
Get
tag
it.
with George is always
Yeah, it's always a thing.
He's always
He's
got
always
like
like,
anxiety about phone calls.
Yeah.
Jerry says you're not Cartwright. George says I'm Cartwright.
I
Jerry
know,
says you're not
right,
Cartwright.
right.
And Elaine says, I'm going to Sky Burger. And Jerry says, so you're not going? You don't need us. I can't go to a bad movie by myself. What am I going to do? Make sarcastic remarks to strangers? I guess I'll go to my uncle's. Do you go to movies by yourself?
All the time.
I would if there's something I want to see. And
I'm not a
be
big
bothered,
movie or dinner
I
or
would
by
definitely-
myself.
I'll do anything by myself.
Me
totally,
too. Love it.
Totally.
I
I'll
will-
go have fucking dinner and I'll go anywhere.
Yep.
I'm not a big self-diner dinner.
I'll go to
Yeah.
the diner by myself.
Oh yeah.
And sit there with not news. Read news.
I'll sit
or
at the
something.
bar and like have a beer by myself all the time,
Yeah.
like with a burger or something.
Totally
Hell
okay
yeah.
with that.
It's my
They all
favorite.
decide to leave. George says, should we tell them we're leaving? Elaine says, well, 4. Let's just get out of here. Second they leave. Seinfeld, 4.
Yep.
Just like that. And that's where this actually, well, a few things, but it goes into the stand-up, the third scene, the final scene, and he's talking about being a cannibal and how hard it would be to sleep at
Yeah.
night if you're a cannibal because someone's going to eat you.
Of
Yeah.
course.
I don't. It actually bothers me to think if it was human flesh, I'd just become a vegetarian. I would just live off the land.
Well, I think the whole thing about cannibalism is it's like that. It's the last
It's their-
resort. They have to.
No, but there's like societies of cannibals,
Where?
like the cannibals.
Not anymore.
What? In
Maybe
like the
like
Amazon?
ancient times.
Shit.
Yeah, what the fuck? They were like doing it for other stuff. I don't fucking know. It's at least how my brain says it. I know there's that. Like, okay, the movie Alive.
Right.
Yeah, you had to eat somebody. I
Right.
get it.
Right.
Talking about the cannibals on like an island. Eat a leaf, catch a fish.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Maybe there's like another school of thought.
I'm not having it. Anyway, that's the end of the episode. I mean, that's
Yeah.
really it.
Killer episode.
Basic,
One
a
of
lot
my
of stuff
favorites.
going on within it, but and then a few little notes for it. You all right? I thought you had to take another thank you. So, in this episode, came up with Larry wrote it because he was the idea of a real time episode while him and Jerry were waiting for a table at Genghis Cohen, a New York style Szechuan restaurant in L.A. So that
A
was,
New York style Szechuan restaurant in LA.
LA.
yes, and as I told you guys before, they wanted to add to this episode and to satisfy them. Larry Charles added the urgency of getting to Plan 9 from outer
Yeah.
space, which was one night screen, so they had to go, and introducing the clicking talk scenario to the story. And Larry threatened to quit if the network forced any major script changes, and Jerry supported it, so NBC allowed the episode to be produced, but postponed the broadcast until after Sweeps Week. Remember we said this before?
Yeah.
They held it back because they thought it was weak. They just
Yeah.
stopped it.
So weird. that
And then, as a
episode's like
passive
that.
aggressive poke at NBC, Larry parodied it in the network's reaction in the Pitch episode.
Yeah.
So, when and we already went over that when Larry had his voice in there. This is a good one, and no one mentioned it, and I don't even think I ever thought of it in this episode. Kramer.
Yeah.
Kramer did not appear in
I
this
said
episode.
that to Roman
Yeah.
when we were setting up earlier.
At this point in the series, it was established he had not left the apartment building in many years. Michael Richards expressed disappointment at not being included because he felt it was the series' best episode at the time. But they wanted to stick true to it, that he was like a hobbit, a shut-in.
Yeah.
So he was excluded from another episode that was early, which was The Pen in Florida,
Yeah.
because he wasn't there.
Right.
Jerry talks about having a sister. Nope. Norman Brenner, Michael Richards' stand-in, who was the guy with the gray hair when they
Yeah.
leave,
Yeah.
sitting there. He's there at the beginning and the end, just right there. He stayed in the same spot. This was supposed to air months earlier, as we talked about, but it was held back. They were uncomfortable with the structure, the real-time format, and only having one set, and thought the audience would be bored. And when they first had the original script written, Jerry, George, and Elaine were picking their least favorite holiday as the end of the restaurant. Jerry picked New Year's, George picked Halloween, and Elaine picked 4th of July. And there was a scene cut before broadcast. George explains to Jerry that he had a hamstring pulled while trying to untuck the covers of a hotel bed during his recent stay in Boston. He's always getting that extra tuck.
Yeah.
He loves the extra tuck.
Needs it.
Tuck or no tuck.
Yeah, man. And they had him grabbing his hamstring as he walked to the phone, but they cut it. And then real quick here, it only took half the time to film this episode. Shortest filmed episode ever.
Okay.
And the NBC executives held a meeting to discuss the fate of the show after this broadcast and agreed to a third season if the writers would put more efforts into storylines. You know how the show just
Yeah.
got a little more like cartoony?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they just were like, yo, we need more. You know?
Right. Yeah.
You gotta progress.
Yeah.
So I mean that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
It's a plain episode,
But a good one.
but still somehow more complex. There's a lot of shit and connections in it, and yeah, it really stands out as one of the best.
It does.
I don't know if it would be on my favorite episode.
No.
I mean, if I had like.
It would make top 20. It didn't
Yeah.
make it top
Yeah.
5 or 10 for me, probably.
Right.
But, you know, it
I
was
could probably
definitely...
squeeze in the top 10 for me. But
Um,
it's just funny. I always found it funny.
Yeah.
the next episode after this is The Busboy, which is a great episode.
Great episode. And
Pretty
then-
hyped for that one.
Is that it for season?
No, I think we have one more after The Busboy.
Oh.
Let's see. I actually... That might be it, bro.
I think it is.
Might be episode 10, season 2. The Busboy, I think that's
It's
it.
great because season
Well.
3's fire.
Season 3 is
Yeah,
amazing.
man, I'm pretty hyped to get into this.
Very hype.
Well, yeah, that was it. You know, if Roman didn't throw us off with all the terrible music earlier, but he did, like
Give
usual.
me the beat, boys, and bring my soul. Well, anyway,
Roman, take
thank
us
you
out.
guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Take us out, Roman.
Beep